What is up, everybody? It's Makai again, and I hope y'all are doing well. So in today's video, I'm just going to be rambling once again over an artwork that I did really recently, and it was really fun to do. It is this one. It's Eustace from Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Woo! Or not Versus, but Grand Blue Fantasy. He's a character that I really love. He is one of my favorite male characters from Grand Blue. And I felt like drawing him. I've been wanting to draw him for a long time, but I just never did. I've been studying value these past couple weeks, so I decided to test my skills with drawing a pure value drawing, so only blacks, whites, and grays. I wanted to make a drawing with lightning as a big part of it because he uses an electricity-based weapon. And his super in Grand Blue is pretty damn cool. Here's what it looks like. He's a pretty peaceful, quiet character. I wouldn't say peaceful, I'd say more quiet character. But he's really reserved. So I gave him a standoffish pose with his weapon, of course. And I think it's pretty cool. I actually think it's pretty damn cool. This is not the final, this is not how the final crop looks. This is actually the final crop. But I honestly thought this was a really fun drawing to do, and I really think I did well. So if I want to talk about my process, we started out with a pretty ugly base. I think the base is pretty ugly. This is not what I started with, but I did start with this, right? This is what I started with, and it was really weird because the moment I put on the lines to make this skin and whatnot, it was whoa, this looks really weird. It looks really weird to me, and I was like, huh, I'm just gonna have to work with this and see what I can do. The initial stage of drawing is always the most frustrating for me, I feel like, because my forms and my perspective were really off, and it was just really frustrating. But I decided to keep going because you just gotta trust the process. So I moved around some parts. I knew I didn't really want to go below the crotch, and making his head, this killed me. Because the perspective wasn't even right when I made the box here, so it was really freaking bad. What? I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't it's not completely off, but it's a little, And I think the thing is off here, but it wasn't so bad. I think it was okay. I had to use a 3D model actually to get the head position correctly, which was fun because I don't normally use 3D models to help me draw, but it's just another tool in your arsenal, and it was actually pretty fulfilling to get the head to look okay in the end. Obviously you can see I had to move some things around, but yeah, it turned out all right for a base. And after that, we started to put a bunch of stuff together. Started to put a bunch of stuff on top of him, and this is how we got this thing. Obviously it's very faded because, oh, I am doing this wrong. We can turn the opacity to 100, and yeah, it looked pretty good. And at this point, when I got to this point, I actually did add a background, and here's what this basically, oh, actually, yeah, no, this is what it looked like after I did the line art. I did the line art after this point because this is the sketch, the super hard sketch. But then I did line art right after, and then I did a mock-up of how I wanted it, or an idea of how I wanted the values to look here, which obviously they don't look very good. So what I did was I asked for advice, and I did get some. And that advice was really fucking good because it really helped me make this look so much better, because you see this, turned into this. I think it was a pretty good upgrade. I did make this rough just to get an idea. Like I said, I made it rough just to get an idea of how I wanted things to look, but this end was really freaking good, really damn good. I will talk about what I like and what I don't like about it in the end, but this is how it ended, and you know, I am pretty happy with it. We can put this back to normal, but that's how our sketch layer went. I think the coloring process wasn't so awful, and I got some advice for a process of how I should like be putting all my values together, like a sort of process, which is like, okay, drop the local colors or drop the local values, which yeah, I did that, reference a lot for that one. I dropped my local values and I used then I multiplied with a shadow layer, which is pretty cool as well. And I basically dropped the values. And then after I did the multiply layer, which I want to show you, I'm just showing you a blank screen right now, but I'll literally show you. This was the actual base I had. This was the local colors I did. And then I added my darks. But it looks weird because I combined them afterwards. That's why. I combined all my darks afterwards. So that's why that looks like that. But I did that, added the darks, or multiply was after, because I just did the darks this time, and then added my whites. And then I did this to make it darker to have better contrast with the background, which was not so bad. It was actually pretty cool. I'm gonna turn this off though, and we're gonna go back to the original, because it contrasts even more. I don't even remember what I did to make it this dark, but I did something. I might have added another multiply layer on top. I think that's what I did. That's why it looks even darker. I might have added another multiply layer, but then I added a lot of texture. Well, the texture was like the final touches, because I did a lot of texture in the background and on the cape. And I think like doing the texture on the cape was like my favorite part, and the texture on the background, because like I was like, this needs to have texture because I want it to look nice, rough, a little rough you could say. But that's just what I was thinking when I made this. I actually did really enjoy playing with the values here, because I think how I did this, I really like playing with the values, especially with the background, because I think it was really fun to have like this white here, or this like really light gray with these darks at the top and like the lightning. It just felt like such a nice contrast that, you know, it just made the piece look so cool to me. But yeah, so if I could say, I've talked about the process and everything like that, but I want to talk about the things that I liked, because we're looking at the end product now. I want to talk about the things that I liked and the things that I did not like. Actually, wait, because I got to mention the one thing first. I did talk about texture, and one thing I did in this was I did not use the G pen. I actually did use the G pen only for like coloring, like getting just values in and stuff, but I mainly used the real G pen because you can see I have a lot of roughness around the things here, around like the lines here, the line work here. I realized myself, because with the Aphrodite one I did last time, I only used like the G pen for my thing, but this time I used the real G pen because I was like, I used the real G pen this time because I was like, oh, I really want to try, or I really like having texture on my lines. I don't really like when my lines are really smooth, because it's not really what I'm going for with what I want to draw sometimes. Like the mood, the like type of drawing I'm trying to go for. I don't want to always have that smoothness, so I think using the G pen was really fun here. I also like the soft brush, having a soft brush. I did not use it in this one, but I did use it in another drawing in the future, or that I did literally the day after. I did use a soft brush as like my line art tool and kind of like my coloring tool too, which is really fun again, because I'm just experimenting a lot with the brushes, which is a good idea. You know, you should experiment. And I really enjoyed using it. You know, I think it's really fun because I really do love seeing the soft brush, like specifically like, you know, like a normal soft round brush. I love seeing it in artworks, especially like sketches. I'm like, ooh, that looks so nice. I want to try that myself. And I did try it and I like it. it's really fun to use. It's really cool to use. I repeat myself a lot. I'm very sorry. This is what happens when I'm like semi-scripted. I just ramble. I'm a big rambler. But to get back to my point of texture, here are the brushes I did use. So I did use the real G pen. That was my main outlining brush here. But I also used like the this gouache pen or not pen, but brush, and the dry one. I used those two, and I used the gauze cloud because this is such a nice brush. I like it a lot. Such a nice thing. I use it a lot in I use it in some value studies to like give that idea of a gradient. I think it's pretty fun to use there. But I've been using this so much, becoming a little addicted to it. It's really fun to use. I'm repeating myself so much, but yeah. Anyways, to talk about what I like and what I don't like about this piece, I would say I really love that I used a lot of references for this compared to the Aphrodite piece I did before, where I only used like a couple. Like I could probably count on my one hand how many I used. Like 2, 3, maybe 4. I think I used 4 or 5. Like 4 or 5. But compared to this, I use like so many for the character to really try to get like his proportions down and his outfit down, because Jesus Christ, look at this dude's outfit, dude. Oh, I didn't even mention that. Like, I was so intimidated at first with him because look at this detail. What the hell? Gacha games, man. Gacha games. It just happens with gachas. They just have really detailed characters, but I think it was pretty fun. I used this, and I had like another one for like some like values I wanted to use, or like the type of coloring I wanted to use, and like here were some poses I used for the guns, which I only ended up using this one, but I wanted these ones for just a general idea, especially because like they are all like big freaking things at the back. I don't know what you call them. I don't know guns, so yeah. But that's basically what I did with that. So let's look at the end product actually. What I like about this is, yes, the texture. I mentioned that earlier. I love the texture and the overall value work because I'm pretty impressed with myself. I'm very impressed that I got this to work because it kind of intimidated me at first. I was like, ooh, this is really scary. I know what I want. I know what I see in my head, but putting this onto the page is going to be very difficult, which is why I asked for advice, because I was like, oh no, this is scary. So I'm like, hey, can you double check if this looks good to you? Do you have any ideas like how I could fix this, how I can make this look better, and that type of stuff? Like how should I go about doing the value process? That type of stuff, right? But aside from that, I do love the composition, and I do love how the character looks. Like I said, I was intimidated by the amount of detail on him. But the composition, ooh, so good, so nice, right? Maybe you could change the cropping a little bit. Maybe on the right side, you could make this a little smaller, right? Like, let me use a like red or something. I don't know. You could like cut this part out. Maybe you can make this part shorter. I don't know. Maybe you could just like shorten the top and the bottom to really focus on him. But I don't know. Composition is not something I know, and I'm learning it as I go, right? Just like everyone else, we're all learning as we go. But I will talk about some things some things I don't like. The pose. I think as I like look at this, I'm like, there's something about him that I feel like just feels weird, right? I think there could have maybe been more tilt to him, maybe. Or it could be the angle. It's like either the angle I drew him at or his gesture himself. That just feels a little stiff to me, which yes, he is holding like his rifle and he's just like kind of standing in the wind in the background. But I do think I could have made the gesture a little better. Maybe. I don't really know though. It's just something I see that I'm like, huh, maybe I could fix this, maybe I couldn't. But I'm not going to go back and fix it because I'm already done, and I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm going to the next thing. And another thing I could say is, like, I don't like how small he feels. He feels a little small in terms of like his head proportion to his body. Maybe because I'm like looking at Eustace like in like these contexts, like his head is really big. His head is big. But I feel like his shoulders could have been bigger too, you know? But yeah, I think something about his like shoulders, like it's like his upper body that feels small to me. But again, I could just be like over analyzing how I look at this, but like in comparison, maybe he looks small, maybe he doesn't. I really don't know, but I feel like he might look small. I don't know. Another thing I could mention, and probably the last thing I think about, the last like big thing that stands out to me here is the background. I love it. I do love it. But I think something I could have added was maybe like some sort of like cloudy effect to it. Like, I don't know if I wanted to like this doesn't really, like, I don't really know how I would have done it. But like the idea of like making it a little like cloudy, you know, like even though there's like lightning, I want it to be like kind of like cloudy, but like I don't really know how I would do it. Again, that one would take me some time to just like sit down and really experiment with, to really see like, oh, how am I gonna make this look the way I want it to, and look at a lot of like references of like similar situations of people, I don't know, in like stormy environments. But that's like the last critique I have for myself in that situation. I think the lighting overall is really good, and I guess like the only, oh my god, I guess like the only part is like this area, because I feel like I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do around here, but I feel like it's okay. It doesn't take away from the piece. This cape is so cool though. Oh my god, it's so cool. Yeah, but compared to this initial one, oh man, it really does look better, doesn't it? But like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't done, so yeah, but I already said that. But this is really good, and I just wanted to go over this, just kind of like say, yeah, I've just been drawing, guys. I don't really have, or just like, yeah, I've been drawing, I've just been doing stuff, and I do have video plans, but I just wanted to show you my progress on this little piece that I did. I think it was actually pretty fun, and yeah, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just drawing. Look at this. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all for me. Quick reminder though, I do have a Twitter. I did post this here, and I've been posting just a little bit. I want to post more, obviously, because one thing I do want to do is I just want to get messy. I just want to sketch a lot of stuff and just post it. Just be like, there you go, take this. I just want to make more things and just not worry about quality. Just be like, hey, I want to just sketch, you know? I want to just experiment. Nothing has to be super clean, you know? It's just something I want to try because I think it's really good, and I just want to draw more things that I love. But yeah, aside from that, you know, that's all I gotta say. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you later.